Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome back to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the paranormal, the supernatural, and hidden, the accursed, the alien, and the forbidden. I am your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today we got something special for you. Spooky season, I have to do it, and also one of my good friends, again, Miss Tsunami out there in the chat, had requested this a couple weeks back, so I did plan on incorporating this in spooky season. I just wasn't sure where it was going to be shoehorned in, but I decided this week would be great. This would be a perfect time to talk about the godfather of cryptids. Now, there's a lot of beings or entities that might try to claim that title. One that comes up a lot is Enkidu from the Epic of Gilgamesh. Problem with Enkidu is that he's presented as a mythological figure, so it's hard to call him a cryptid. The first cryptid that we know that there was actually a physical animal behind it, but we don't know what the animal was. That's what we're dealing with today. A beast. And this starts, this story, I guess, it starts in 18th century France. We are going to explore the legend of the Beast of Gévaudan, or pronounced in the French, it's Le Bête du Gévaudan. Yeah, I practiced my French for this one. That's part of the reason I put off doing this or covering this topic for so long, is because when I tried to do my science video on Lamarck, I tripped over every single French pronunciation that I came across. So today I've done some practice, but for the most part, I'm going to let this guy talk anyway. So we are looking at, this is the Legends of History. It's a pretty big YouTube channel, almost hit 100, or 1 million. Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. Congratulations to you. I like their art style here. That's why I picked this one to be the one that's presenting the case. So let's see. Let's unravel the mystery. Oh, yeah. Let me show you real quick before we get too far into this. I've got so many maps. Oh, not that. Yeah, here we go. I've got so many maps. Look at these maps. I got maps and maps. And then, obviously, I'm going to have this map, and we're going to be going down into here, where these are points of significance. Some of these are memorials, and some of them are attack sites. But we'll be digging into all of it, so we're going to unravel this. We are going to untangle this yarn. Yes, this is the one from Brotherhood of the Wolf. Oh my gosh, Captive Desk, thank you so much for gifting some memberships. Jenna got a membership. So did your mom. That's nice, your mom. Alias fake name. Atheist Junior, fresh out of the asylum, got a membership. And yeah, thank you so much, Captive Desk. You rock. You are a rock star. All right. Hold on. Let me fix the volume up here. Take me just a second. I got that working class hero stuck in my head now. All right, here we go. Let's try this.
It would all take place in the seemingly peaceful region of Gévaudan, located in southern France. A mountainous, secluded and mysterious place that would make for the perfect setting for a grim fairy tale. A story
kind of these woods, yeah, he gets 16 seconds and I'm like, wow, to the maps. No, these woods, it's mostly the stretch of woods right here. They are really a fairy tale wood. I mean, if you look at this is the kind of wood that Hansel and Gretel warned you about. Watch this. Look. This is the forest in southeastern France, right? And it's hilly and wooded. And this is where the legends of the werewolf comes from. This region here. And wolves used to thrive in this environment. As you can see, it's a perfect environment for wolves. Lots of timber cover for organized hunting.
and author J.M. Smith describes the region of Gévaudan.
I think that's the fastest I ever got into a video where I pulled up a map and was like, wait, let me punctuate what they're saying here, but
Historian and author J.M. Smith describes the region of Gévaudan as having enchanted forests, where the forces of nature are truly untamed. From 1764 to 1767, records note that over 100 people were slain by a vicious creature, a giant rabid wolf, as the tales would have it, who would earn the name the Beast of Gévaudan. The first recorded sighting...
See, back when I first got into the cryptozoological community, they just called it Le Bête. Le Bête du Gévaudan, but Le Bête was what they called it. And people always say the Beast of Gévaudan now. I think putting the Beast of title on anything gets redundant. That's why I call the Beast of Bray Road Eddie, because, you know, he had a name. Someone named him. So, and Le Bête, it just means the Beast. Ironically, the Beast in France, where Beauty and the Beast takes place. Not saying that's the story here, but...
involves a young woman who was tending to her cattle. The beast made itself known, inching its way towards her as she stood petrified by its sheer size. Luckily for her though, the cattle in which she was tending to, which some say were grown bulls, drove the beast away, allowing for the young woman to escape unharmed. This would not be the case for the beast's first victim though, a young 14-year-old girl named
Okay, so the first attack, no death. So we are looking at... Nope. I thought I had a bigger version of this map. Of this one. Let me zoom in on it a little bit, maybe. There we go. Okay, so first attacks are taking place up here in the valley by Marat. So, if we go back out and look... I'm going to say this is, where is St. Flower? Okay, so St. Flower and Marat's up here. So, you can see St. Flower on this map, though. It's right there. And the early attacks take place more in the north. So, for right now, we are really focused up in the area north of this forest. This is the forest of Gévaudan. This big forest that runs. It used to be a lot bigger too, as you can tell. It's been kind of stripped back, but it runs all the way down this valley. But this is where things start, right? This is where everything begins. Our story begins in people tending their herds up in this region. Up around here, and a wolf prowling in the darkness. Captive Desk, send in another $10. Oh my gosh, Dave. Thank you. You don't have to be so generous. Oh my gosh, much love.
Jane Boulay. Unlike the woman before her, Jane Boulay did not have a pack of bulls at her disposal, but instead,
Thank you.
a pack of sheep.
I need all the help I can
The
get.
beast, which was described as a giant wolf, brutally killed her, much as it did to its other victims, where their throats were torn, their heads gnawed, or completely consumed. The horrific nature of these kills was so shocking that the tale of the Beast of Gévaudan echoed throughout France, and it even found its way to the ears of King Louis XV. The mid-18th century was not France's finest hour. They had suffered...
Yeah, France is already in bad shape here, but I just wanted to pinpoint some stuff about large animals that attack. So, when they attack humans, generally you're looking at something that's been, it may have suffered an injury, or it may be just elderly, or it may be young and inexperienced. Those are the situations usually where a large predator attacks a human. Because for the most part, large predators learn to avoid humans. We don't look appetizing to animals. For the most part, we're skinny and hairless and bony, which makes us look sickly to wildlife. So they're like, nah. But desperate times call for desperate measures when, you know, you break your tooth and you can't tackle a water buffalo anymore. those skinny little monkey things, the skinny little bald monkey guys that can barely lift their own body weight start to look pretty damn yummy.
Many defeats during the 7 Years' War at the hands of the British, and had ceded many lands overseas. The economy was in the toilet, so to speak, and the political climate of the nation
Pathogenic, of course, James. Absolutely.
Was not a favourable one. Perhaps the Beast of Gévaudan was the last thing that King Louis needed. Or maybe it would serve as a much needed distraction, an entity for which he could focus his frustration on, and an entity which could unite France in a time when morale was at a low. King Louis would eventually commission the services.
Is it an entity or an animal? Now, there was a lot of speculation since this event over the centuries about what the identity of this creature is. It's never been thoroughly identified. And we'll look at some of the different theories and stuff. But we'll dig into it.
Of 2 wolf hunters, before sending his own personal guard to hunt the beast. But first, Captain Jean-Baptiste Dumel, a leader of the local infantry, took it upon himself to organise the first attack against the wolf. It's possible that Captain Dumel wasn't in this endeavour to serve the people, but more so to redeem his own honour for his shortcomings during the war. Therefore, he set about a strict organisation.
And just to clarify, because I keep putting this image up on the board here, this isn't really what the beast was alleged to look like in any of the reports. It was never black, it didn't have glowing blue eyes, nor did it have crocodile mouth. The rest of the stuff's alright, I guess.
Of his men throughout the region of Gévaudan, through the mountains and the forests,
Gévaudan.
And even went as far as to use poisoned bait to weaken or perhaps even kill the beast, without resulting in combat.
So imagine how many real, just like living off the land, doing wolf stuff, wolves that this motherfucker got killed. I mean, if you think about it, he's acting like a fool, killing villagers and such, and getting the hunters all riled up to start killing wolves. And like you can look, they killed hundreds of wolves because of you can look at the records. They killed hundreds of wolves trying to catch this this monster. Oh my gosh, Regios, you are the bomb.com. Yo, JG, left-handed Jedi, Sydney Raptor, Captain Crockpot, Apocalypse Meow, Apostle Sister, Apostate Sisters, Carlton Winston, Inquisitor Bacon, Jenny Morgan, and Tina Jones, Ember, Rick, Thylonka Leon Kennedy, Ian Chen Official, Patty Troy. Thank you so much. There's more even. Hecklek, Neo Way, Ryan Coltastic, Scott Duke, Paul Schlatter. I think that's it. But we had another $10 super chat too. What are you guys doing? Thank you so much. Can everyone pitch in a few dollars to help Bree move? Thank you so much, D. Yeah, I was planning to do a fundraiser maybe this week or something. I talked to Maya about doing something maybe with seeing how ChatGPT responds to paranormal claims and what it tells you, like if you start reporting ghostly activity to it, what it'll say and how it'll respond. So if you're interested in that, maybe I'm planning on doing something like that. I don't know, but yes, thank you so much for helping with the move. Every penny that I can get right now is tied up in moving and making sure that I get all the stuff here taken care of before I go. So really appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. Yeah, use your emojis. You have them now. I want to see some pride butterflies. I want to see some mantises, maybe some flat earths. Yeah, some angry demonic snails. Let's see them. Let's see it. If you received a membership just now from either one of our memberships gifting, I want to see you using it. I want to see some cute emojis come up. Come on, let's show me some Mothmans. I love Mothman. You guys know that.
Sources claim that he even had some of his own soldiers dress up as women, in the hopes that the beast would consider it easy prey, and therefore reveal itself. Some
Yes, the Bigfoot feet. Yeah, you can make a whole trail of Bigfoot feet. Yes. Woo! Now, having your soldiers dress up like women is, I think they did show that part in the Brotherhood of the Wolf. The Brotherhood of the Wolf is an action movie, that's set to the backdrop of this phenomena, right? It's got the characters and stuff that come in, but they're doing kung fu and whatnot. It's a kung fu movie, or I don't know if it's the fighting style they're doing is kung fu or some other fighting style, but that's the pinnacle of the movie, watching the fight scenes. But if you're into choreography, they're amazing. I love choreography. That's the funny thing about it. People are like, how could you be anti-violent and you like so many violent movies? It's like, I love choreography. Those are freaking dances those people are doing. They're making it look like they're hurting each other by dancing. It's amazing. They're making it look like they're actually having a violent confrontation by dancing. I love it. But I digress. The beast does appear in the movie, but I'm not real thrilled with the depiction of the beast necessarily.
Some have said that a reward was established that would equal a working man's salary if they were successful in slaying the beast. Captain Damal may have had the military know-how and the resources for which to trap and kill the beast, but he did not have much engagement.
I tell you what, Octopus with no friends, the Lich King is the only time I remember being scared of a cartoon character as an adult. When he gets thin and wrapped up in that darkness, and he's feeling cold and alone and desperate. Oh my god. The feels. You could feel that scene.
With the beast. In fact, women and children are said to have had much more success in fending off the wolf. An example of this is a young boy named Jacques Portefeuille, who was playing with a group of friends in a meadow in January 1765. The beast snuck up on them, but under the quick wit of Jacques, they formed a circle and held out pikes to ward the wolf away. King Louis XV soon learned of this particular story and was said to reward all of the children for their bravery. He was said to have Jacques privately educated at his own personal expense.
Now, that's a good idea, though, to stand. That's like what buffalo do. Stand back to back with the horns facing out, and yeah, these kids did the buffalo tactic, and it seems to have worked against the beast.
Another tale speaks of Marie-Jeanne Vallée, who was attacked that same year in August, but she was able to fend the beast off single-handedly. It would earn her the title the Maiden of Gévaudan, where a statue would later be erected in her honor. By this point, the beast was...
We will look at that badass statue, too, don't you worry. Her statue's the best of the statues. There's a whole bunch of them, though. You saw my map, like, more than half of those are statues.
Gévaudan had become something of a sensation.
On memorials.
Reports about the beast being a savage monster soon echoed throughout France, and were further fueled by eyewitness accounts. One from Captain Damal himself, who stated that the beast had a chest as wide as a horse, and its body was as long as a leopard's. He also noted that the beast had red fur, with a black stripe, and that he believed the monster was a hybrid.
Ooh, with black stripe. That's interesting. Black stripe.
Of which its father was a lion, and its mother was something unknown, but equally fearsome. Other accounts would speak of the beast having supernatural powers, which were in turn soaked up by the local press. Some have said that it could walk on its hind legs and tower over its prey as tall as a small tree. Others said that it could repel bullets with its tough flesh,
I don't know.
and that it had fire in its eyes that was devastating to look upon. Another account says that the beast was actually killed, but that it returned to life moments later. It was also said...
It's a lich beast. There you go. It's like that. It's like the snail. The lich brings it back to life. Goes full circle.
To demonstrate an astonishing ability to leap across large distances. In February 1765, the king commissioned 2 professional wolf hunters, a man named Jean-Charles Marc-Antoine Denevon and his son, Jean-François. They would meet with Captain Damal, but their strategies to capture the wolf were extremely different. As noted earlier, Damal organised hunting parties and had his men positioned throughout the forest, prepared to take down the beast through any means necessary. But the Denevals believed that the beast could only be stumbled upon through means of stealth, and that Damal was only hindering the process with his men positioned everywhere. Eventually, Damar was ordered.
I mean, I can see the benefit of both tactics depending on how the creature's behavior is, right? A rogue that's out killing humans and then wants to kill humans and is hunting them down. It might not be a bad idea to have stations in the forest with armed hunters waiting for the beast, as opposed to sneaking up on it. These tactics don't have to work independently, but I do see how having the parties of people stationed about might keep the beast from wanting to come into that area.
To stand down. The Denevers would incorporate bloodhounds into their hunt over the next 4 months, but were only successful in killing regular wolves. The attacks and sightings of the beast of Gévaudan continued, and it became clear that the professional wolf hunters were having as much luck as Captain Damar was. Therefore, they were dismissed from their task and were swiftly replaced by the king's own bodyguard, Francois Antoine, in June 1765. By September that same year, Antoine succeeded in killing a giant wolf, one who...
Now, I believe Francois Antoine is the character from the movie Brotherhood of the Wolf. I think that's the character that's in that movie. And yeah, he did kill a wolf. And he had it taxidermied too.
Who measured 80 centimeters in height and weighed 130 pounds. Antoine concluded...
Which is a massive wolf in Europe. An absolutely massive wolf in Europe. A wolf that weighs over 100 pounds, or 45 kilograms or whatever, is 50 kilograms, is absolutely massive. They're a huge animal.
That this had to have been the beast that had caused such terror, given that it was later identified by the victims who had defended themselves by the scars on its body.
Morning, Joe.
Antoine of course lapped up the gratitude presented to him by the people of Gévaudan, and relished in his moment of fame. He would, however, remain hunting in the woods a while after.
Like a lot of the depictions of the beast also depicts it as biped. I don't think it was biped ever, like in any other reports that it had hands or anything.
For he had claimed to have seen the female partner of the beast, as well as 2 grown cubs. Proving to be better at wolf hunting than one might think, Antoine was able to kill the female wolf and a cub, which was already larger than its mother. Antoine claimed he had shot the final remaining cub, but that it had managed to escape, though he believed it could not have lived for much longer, given its wound. Antoine returned to Paris, where he received a large sum of money.
I don't know how to convert to stone, Spooky. You'll have to ask Google. But the other wolves. So far he's killed one, right? And then they all celebrated. Ooh, yeah, you killed it. Then he went and killed the other alpha female in the pack, and they're grown pups. So he just eradicated out this pack of wolves. Now, if the pack of wolves was attacking people, now there have been packs of wolves that do attack people. That does happen. You bet. Now, the implications here is that they caused a small extinction event in this valley in southern France of the apex predator. Sure hope it doesn't have any repercussions.
Awards and several titles for his bravery and strength. It seemed like all was well again in the isolated and furtive region of Gévaudan, until the beast struck again in December, just 3 months after Antoine had left, and was able to attack a 6-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. It would appear that the beast was back, with a vengeance, furthermore lending to the tale that the beast could be slain, but it would return from the dead moments after.
But didn't he say he shot one of the pack and it didn't die?
It also tried to capture a 6-year-old boy, but was fought off by civilians. It would attack again throughout the remainder of the year, and while it had once been dissuaded from attacking those who were surrounded by cattle, such as bulls, it no longer held such inhibitions. It was brazen now, slaying any animal that stood in its way between it and its human prey. The attacks would go on into 1766.
Now, this is where people start to speculate that maybe there was actually a serial killer on the loose at this time in this area of France that was using the beast narrative to be able to just get away with committing some grisly-ass crimes.
Where 35 fatalities were reported at the hands of the beast. The community appealed to the king to send Antoine once again to rid them of the menace, but the king denied them, believing that Antoine had already slain it, and therefore it could not have possibly still been alive. In essence, he didn't believe them, and turned a blind eye to their pleas for help. It seemed like assistance
Typical
wasn't
king,
coming,
right?
and therefore, the locals took matters into their own hands. A local farmer named Jean Chastel had been involved in a previous hunt alongside Antoine, but because he had accidentally led Antoine and his men into a bog, he was thrown in jail. He was released from captivity, given that the town believed they needed all the help they could get in defeating the Beast of Gévaudan.
Now, Chastel is, this is where silver bullets come from in folklore, in werewolf folklore.
Once and for all. Whether or not the following is true or not has not been confirmed, but some believe Jean Chastel is responsible for the idea that wolves or werewolves in modern culture are susceptible to silver, or silver bullets in this case.
Oh,
Jean Chastel was indeed successful in slaying the Beast of Gévaudan, with a single bullet no less, on June 19th, 1767. Rumours suggest that Chastel had actually coated his bullets in silver, or somehow was able to fashion a bullet out of silver that would be compatible with his firearm. Given that bullets hadn't worked on the beast before, it's interesting that one single bullet fired from Chastel's gun.
So, right, the silver bullets are a cute idea. They're not heavy enough to actually work effectively, though. At least not on any kind of range. You have to be basically point blank to get any kind of penetration with a silver bullet, just because of the weight of silver. I suppose the term is tumbling. I'm not a big gun person, but it causes the bullet to tumble, which makes it go off in erratic directions. If you make them out of silver. Now, coated in silver, I hadn't heard that before. I wonder how he would have pulled that off without, I guess he could have electroplated it. Did they electroplate bullets in France in 1767? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think electroplating had quite been invented yet. You would have had to smelt it onto there or something. Hello, alias fake name. Good to have you with us. We are talking about the Beast of Gévaudan. Le Bête du Gévaudan.
It's all it took to defeat the beast.
I just like saying that, by the way, if y'all can't tell. Le Bête Gévaudan. Le Bête du Gévaudan. I almost forgot the of.
Beast, and for good this time. However, many argue that this idea is simply far-fetched, given that a farmer wouldn't necessarily have the know-how nor the means to fashion a bullet, let alone be in the possession of silver in the first place. Even if this was the case, Chastel's determining of silver being effective against wolves appears to be unfounded, as he never explained his reasoning as to how he came up with the idea in the first place. The end of the Beast of Gévaudan.
If I remember correctly, and I've read like a ton on this case, that he also had it blessed, the bullet blessed and everything. There was a whole ritual he said he did before taking the shot. Then like he had laid the cross down when he took aim and everything like that. He said he did a whole ritual. But he was a hustler, probably. They usually are.
Don does little to answer many of the burning questions we still have today, though. I mean, a beast that could seemingly bring itself back to life is quite clearly a terrifying concept to ponder on. But many believe that the beast was not bringing itself back to life, and that simply, Gévaudan had an infestation of large wolves, and so when one was killed, another simply took its place. This would also coincide with how quickly the beast was able to strike, because there was more than one large wolf out there, preying on victims. Historians also believe that there were as many as 9,000 wolf-related fatalities across the country between the 17th and 19th century. But what is it that makes Gévaudan stand out so much? Well, that's likely to do with the creative press at the time, who were able to turn the violent nature of wolf attacks into one physical embodiment, a giant beast that lurked in the forest.
Now, France was kind of famous during this period of time. There's like I guess you would say during the Little Ice Age. Really, France had a wolf problem, or the wolves of France had a people problem, whichever side you want to take on that matter. But do we need to explain what the Little Ice Age is? A solar minimum period that followed the medieval warm period. Okay, so we had the medieval warm period, and then you had as we moved into basically from the start of the Renaissance up past the Enlightenment was the Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age is peaked in 1817 with the Year Without a Summer, and that was the eruption of. Year Without a Summer was the eruption of. It wasn't Toba. It was. Oh my God, this is gonna drive me crazy. Hold on. I know this. I have it on my map too. Is this it? No, that's that. You know what? This is off topic. I need to go back to the video. I'm going to be easily distracted. But yeah, it was the Little Ice Age was a period where it was colder than the mean temperature was about 1 to 2 degrees Celsius colder across the globe. The Year Without a Summer was 1.7 degrees colder. Now Toba, of course, that was 50,000 years ago. So that's a whole different thing. So don't get confused. I just can't remember the name of the volcano that caused the Year Without a Summer. I don't want to look it up. No, it was not Krakatoa. Krakatoa was in the 1850s. The Year Without a Summer was in the 1817. And that's about the time the Little Ice Age came to an end. But things were colder. France was colder. And there were wolves. There's a few different famous wolves from Paris. Here, let me show you here. I'll pull up a list. Let's see here. Yeah, check this out. Check it. Okay, so let's go back. We gotta go way back. This is all the wolf attacks in all the world. We want to go back to here. Now, see, we're back in the 1700s, the 18th century. And if you look right here, it'll tell you what district that these wolf attacks are taking place in. If you notice a trend, raise your hand. I mean, obviously Italy has some problems too. Look at that. North Italy, but as you know from looking at this, southern France and North Italy, they're not all that far apart. There's Turin right there. Yeah, Italy and southern France are neighbors, so that's not surprising. That's a good spot to start with the list, though. Check this out. So, starting with Gévaudan. Let's see, as we move our way up. France, 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 France. It's starting to lose meaning. France, 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 France. I sound like one of the seabirds from Finding Nemo, except for instead of saying mine, I'm saying France. France, 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 France. And back to North Italy. France, France, France. France, 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 France. France, France, France. Are you getting the point, France? France, 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 France. France, 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 France. France, 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 France. France, 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 France. And the Netherlands, France, 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 France. We're up to 1811. France, 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 France. Is it coming across? Is the message I'm laying down coming through? France, 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 France. There's a wolf problem in France in the Little Ice Age. France, 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 France. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect it to be this long. Look at that. Jesus. There's not even any other places named here. How far until we're not in France anymore? Estonia. 1820. But then it jumps right back to France. And then Prussia, which is, yeah. And then more France. Are we getting the point? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? There was a wolf problem in France. All right.
Others believe that the beast may have actually been of prehistoric nature and had somehow survived all of this time, though there is little evidence to prove this.
Just a prehistoric nature doesn't tell us anything. They're saying it's a dire wolf, because those are in North America. Is it a cave hyena? That'd be kind of cool. But you think if we'd had a cave hyenas in the valleys and mountains of France and Italy, we would have known about it before now. Their hyenas are pretty loud, pretty ambitious predators.
A more compelling idea that stems from Damal's original assessment of the beast having a lion as a father is also considered by historians. Some descriptions of the beast at the time describe it as having a flat head, reddish fur, a dark line across its spine, as well as spots on its side, which happen to appear on younger lions. The descriptions go on to talk about its long tail with a tassel on its end, its long body, and the so-called supernatural aspect that suggests the beast could leap up into high places. Roars were said to have been heard from the forest, and large paw prints were also discovered. In essence, this sounds an awful lot like a lion if you ask me, but if you ask the common...
A lion is a good assessment of those descriptions. Some of the descriptions are different, though. Some of them do say it's stripes. It has stripes like a tiger, or a striped hyena, or a mane like a horse.
When people of 18th century Gévaudan, they may have only had a vague idea as to what a lion looked like,
True.
and certainly wouldn't have known what a sub-adult male lion looked like, with its mane still not fully formed, and its distinct characteristics yet to still emerge. But I hear you ask, what the heck would a lion be doing in the forest of 18th century Gévaudan?
Gévaudan.
Well, during the 17th and 18th century of France, menageries of exotic animals had become very popular, and were frequently displayed for public viewing. It wouldn't be entirely far-fetched that this one lion had escaped its captivity and sought refuge in the remote forest, more scared of the humans who had captured it than the humans who would later seek to kill it. Another interesting idea by historians is that Jean Chastel was actually a known criminal before his imprisonment by Antoine, and that he had been captured because he'd been training an animal to attack people. This animal was said to be none other than the beast of Gévaudan itself, and so when he was released, he was able to easily kill the beast, having trained it to be docile to himself, and thus whisk away his reputation as being a criminal and replace it with one of him being a hero.
Well, Ferox species are bipedal, though. And we'll get to cryptids with the spec cryptozoology. If you like speculative cryptozoology, speculative evolution, I'm doing a series on that. So yeah, I think next we have Mothman on the list, though. So we'll get down to European werewolves at some point, I'm sure. But Thought Potato has a good video about werewolves.
But the tale of the beast of Gévaudan remains mostly unknown, and it's still shrouded in mystery. With that in mind, you yourselves may as well take your best guess as to what you think was really going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the beast was actually some otherworldly creature that could rise from the dead? Or was it actually just down to the fact that there were so many wolves in the area that people mistook its appearance? Perhaps you think that the wolf was actually this escaped lion, or maybe you think Jean Chastel was a mastermind criminal able to redeem himself in the eyes of the law by his cleverly thought out plan.
Now, the Brotherhood of the Wolf movie actually, it actually leans really hard into that with Chastel. It's not Chastel, though, that ends up being the Beast's master. It's somebody else. But I won't give away too many spoilers if you wanted to watch the movie. But the Beast does turn out to be a lion. So that's the path that they go down in that film. But the problem I have with the lion hypothesis is mostly that people know what a cat is. People know the difference between a cat and a canid and a felid, for the most part. At least a cat and a dog. And if they saw a lion, I mean, this is France, so they have lynx. So you think that if it was a lion, the comparison would have been more likely to be compared to a cat or a lynx than to a wolf. But as far as animals that match the description, though, I mean, not wrong. There were a lot of attacks, though. I mean, look at this map. Right? It was everywhere and anywhere along this valley. And then we go in here and look at some of this cool stuff that I've pinpointed. Now, some of the stuff we can get down and look at it, some of it we can't. We're going to start north and work our way down, though. So we'll start over here. What we have here is the chapel. This is the chapel near where the beast met its final fate. This is the chapel, allegedly, that Chastel, that he blessed his bullets at and everything, and got his holy water. Now, this is, yeah, here's the forest that we talked about before. So, imagine this forest was a lot bigger back then. We've done a lot of clear cutting since then. But this is that chapel. I did find some place that had a better view of it. Let me see. I have that over here. Yeah. This is what the chapel looked like, or looks like today. And I just thought it was a pretty place. All right, so next, moving down the list. Let's see. We're going to go way over here. And this is the famous statue. Monument Marie Jean Valette. And unfortunately, you can't drop yourself down in here. There's no way to drop yourself into this village. Sad but true, but the statue's right here. I'm like, it's the really cool statue. Let me see if I can pull up. Jean Valette. I'm just trying to find a good picture of it because it's a badass statue. There we go. Let's open that up in a new tab. Oh, I guess it's this one I already have pulled up here. Just a different page of it. There we go. It's got her stabbing that sucker. And there's a different depiction of it. Now this is one statue. This one's my favorite too. This is my favorite of the reconstructions. I like the way the beast looks here, and I like that we got this badass girl stabbing it. Alright, and then moving on, continuing our trek south. Here's another memorial. This is one to Jean Chastel. And I think we can drop down. Nope, we can't drop down on that one. That's alright. You can see what it looks like here. Yeah, so that's the plaque de Jean Chastel. And then, so if I go on like a backpacking trip to France, I can go down this valley and kind of zigzag and hit all these spots. See all the different statues and stuff. Here's another statue. Now this one's more reptilian looking. Look at the reptilian looking tail, kind of like a big dragon. Let's see if we go further up the road, if we can get a better angle on it. But it does have the wolf-like head. It's pretty cool. I like this one. 5 out of 10. No, it'd be higher than that. 7 out of 10. The one with homegirl and her spear, though, that's a 9 out of 10 for sure. The only thing to make it cooler is if there was like, they figure out a way to make it go, like blood burst from the wound. But yeah. Let's see. Moving on. Down here. Here's another statue of Lebet. Right here. This one's not quite as big. As you can see, a lot smaller. There's the wolf. And the wolf's master. And the shepherd. And their sheep. So, yeah, this is like almost like a diorama of the experience. Alright, and then straighten yourself out. There we go. Alright, now this Chateau de Le Bon is where some of the sightings took place when Antoine was there. So, that's this fancy building right here. Not you people. This right here. Yeah. The chateau. Now, you can actually get the chateau from a few different angles, which is cool. You can get it from this side too. And you can see, you know, forested area around here, so. This is one of the areas where it was sighted, hunting and prowling. And then down here we have, I think this is our last memorial to look at. And this one's the one that's kind of crude. This one's sort of an abstract piece of architecture. It makes the beast look kind of alien, where it's like squared and stuff, geometric, but it's an art style. I think it's pretty cool. But the beast, and it makes much more sense to look at this place like this to see what its range was. It was moving down. It moved down this river valley, and then was working kind of between here and here, and then worked its way down this river valley. So this land here is pretty rough. Like, if you drop yourself down into it, you'll see that there's lots of rocky stonework and moorland. Oh, that's weird. Turns weird green there. That must be the portal that the beast comes through. But yeah, rocky and wooded and hard to cross, right? Like for hunters and such. But for a wolf pack, they can use this type of terrain to their advantage. But yeah, this countryside is forested and, I mean, heavily forested. Look at that. Heavily forested, the whole region. So it's no surprise at all that this area would be a region where large carnivores might be able to thrive and eke out a niche in a period where firearms were a little less effective than they are today. Anyhow, yeah. The Beast of Gévaudan. Now, here we go. Let's talk about unknown creatures. I liked this video.
Welcome to Dates and Dead Guys. Today we're going to talk about how people historically have described what they witnessed and use animals as a common reference point. I wasn't really sure where to start this story. Just a warning in advance, this is a little bit more abstract than my other videos, so forgive me. I will get back to more traditional historical content in the next one, but for now, just humor me. You may find this interesting. In the way that
Oh, is Behe somewhere? I didn't even see him. Are you talking about Michael Behe? Or Blessed Behe? I don't know, Blessed Behe's not here either. I don't think. But
we live, the vast majority of the natural world around us is defined, at least in the way that we need it to be.
I'm a speed
But it wasn't that
though.
long ago that outside our direct living experience, you didn't know what the outside world was like. I have never been to China, but in 2022, I know what a panda is. I have watched documentaries. I've been to the zoo. I use the internet. I know what a panda is. We know what a panda is. But if we lived 200 years ago and down the street we ran into one chomping on a patch of bamboo, we wouldn't know what we saw. How would we describe it? Do you think that we would be accurate? And would people even believe us? That is...
Well, I don't know. If I saw a panda, I think if I was from Europe, I would know what a bear is. So I'd probably call it a bear, hypothetically. Maybe a dog, though. Maybe some kind of weird dog.
kind of what people were experiencing centuries ago whenever they went far from home. For most of human existence, at least since agriculture, people have lived and died within one small area, never going outside the boundaries of civilization and not knowing for sure what is out there. It was mysterious. So when there was something different in the direct environment, describing it could become tricky and unreliable. The Greek historian Herodotus took a trip to Egypt around 450
Okay,
BC.
we need to make sure that when you talk about Herodotus, you need to make sure you have a hefty grain of salt in the
When
conversation.
he was there, he explored Egyptian culture and history, but he was dumbfounded by their animals and spent time writing about them. There was nothing like them in Greece. While on the Nile, he speaks about different animals that he observes. He names and he describes them. Try to guess which one he's talking about here. I'll even make it multiple choice. Herodotus writes, quote, "It has 4 feet with cloven hooves like an ox, a blunt snout, a mane like a horse, conspicuous tusks, and a horse's tail. It neighs. It is the size of the largest ox, and its hide is so thick that once it is dried, spear shafts can be crafted from it." End quote.
So, only one of these has tusks, though. The buffalo has horns, and the rhino has horn. The hippo has tusks, but you get the point that he's trying to make here.
Did you guess hippopotamus? The name hippopotamus would have been an additional clue because the word itself means horse on the river in Greek. But regardless, he got some things about the animal wrong. Hippos don't neigh, and they definitely don't have a mane. He's also not quite right about a feet. The description was written about 2,500 years ago, and I wasn't there. For all I know, Herodotus never saw a hippo and was just using the descriptions of the locals and translators. But let's assume he did actually see it. Would that make his description accurate? What if he saw a hippo and didn't write down his description for a week or so? Might that change what he says? Herodotus was a historian. He was observing these things, listening to people, taking notes, and he still gets it wrong. In my
Herodotus was a horrible historian, though. I cannot stress this enough. Herodotus was, just go look at his work. Look at the claims he made about what he experienced in his travels. They're traveler tales. It's like historical fiction.
modern times, eyewitness testimony has been challenged. One study showed that 75% of the people who were wrongly convicted of crimes like rape and murder were done so off of eyewitness testimony. People testifying were sure of what they saw, but exonerations might come later with new evidence like video or DNA. Our brains have a hard time remembering details, especially in cases where our attention is drawn to something specific. An example would be if a criminal was pointing a gun at me. I'm less likely to remember what he's wearing and exactly what he looks like. I'm focused on the gun. My brain may paint the rest of the picture, but it could be false or led by outside influences to be false. If I am focused on the magnificent tusks of a hippo, is it possible that I misremember that it had a mane? Even in cases where people can clearly reference something in front of them,
Yay,
the words they
Scott
choose may make it
Duke,
difficult to understand what they're seeing.
Congrats on the gift memberships, everybody. If you got one, yay.
46 BC, 400 years after Herodotus went to Egypt, Cleopatra gave Julius Caesar a gift, an animal that he took back with him to Rome. Cassius Dio, a Greek but a historian for Rome, described the animal given to Caesar. So let's play our game again. What is he describing? No multiple choice this time. Quote, "I will give an account of the so-called camel leopard. This animal is like a camel in all respects, except that its legs are not all the same
I can tell what it is by its name. Camel leopard.
length, the hind legs being the shorter. Beginning from the rump, it grows gradually higher, which gives it the appearance of mounting some elevation and towering high aloft. It supports the rest of its body on its front legs and lifts its neck in turn to an unusual height. Its skin is spotted like a leopard, and for this reason it bears the joint name of both animals." End quote. If you guessed a giraffe, then you are correct. Hopefully the neck gave it away. That's a pretty distinguishable characteristic. Dio lived a couple hundred years after the time of...
It's because Dio rocks and Herodotus lies. I swear Herodotus is we were living ancient Roman times and we sent Donald Trump out to explore the world and come back and tell us about it. That's Herodotus.
Caesar. So he wasn't there, but he's using reference points he knows, like a camel for shape or a leopard for color, in order to define it. Other historians were less kind in talking about the giraffe's demeanor. Pliny thought of it as some sort of wild sheep, and Edward Gibbon, in the history of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, said the giraffe was, quote, "the tallest, the most gentle, and the most useless of all the large quadrupeds." End quote. Kind of a mean jab there at the end by Gibbon, calling it useless. But they are gentle, kids can feed them at zoos. The Romans had a different kind of zoo, though, the Naciones, or wild beast hunts, and Caesar fed his giraffe to lions. He might not have, but at the very least he showed them off at the games, so it's unclear. So what's the point? People don't always know what they see. And even...
Giraffes, at least some giraffes died during the Colosseum battles. That goes without saying. And as gentle as they think a giraffe is, it'll drop kick some lions across the stadium if you put them in there with it.
When they do, it doesn't mean that they would define it well. A giraffe is not a camel, but we see what Dio means, and the reference can be useful when describing it. Poor animal descriptions are also kind of fun, so feel encouraged to leave.
And when Dio was writing this, that wasn't a camel. That was a dromedary. What they would have called a camel in Dio's time would have been a Bactrian camel, the two-humped camel. So Bactrians were what they called a camel, and then they called dromedary camels just dromedaries. So there were camels and dromedaries, Bactrian camels and dromedary camels. But yeah, that's just the way that they named them in ancient times.
A badly written animal description in the comments, and I will do my best to guess what animal you're writing about. It does have to be pretty accurate, though. You can't get a hippo mane. Be better than Herodotus. When people see things they don't fully understand, they have a hard time describing it. They can also misremember
Herodotus is a low bar.
and draw conclusions that are filled in by the mind. People, probably seeing bears in the woods, swear they saw Bigfoot. Sailors, centuries ago, told stories of sea monsters. Columbus, even, in January of 1493, wrote about his men seeing mermaids. A lot of people, they think they actually saw manatees, which would be disappointing if you were attracted to fish girls. But even if some details are wrong, others
But thick girls. If you're attracted to thick girls, manatees might be right up your alley. Don't shame.
be correct. Bears may not be Bigfoot, but they are huge and sometimes move on their hind legs. Something like the long neck of a giraffe is distinguishable in a description and can give you real hints as to what people are actually talking about. The most notable example I can think of is the Beast of Gévaudan. I'm only going to outline the story. Detailed versions have been done many times by very talented people. But in short, between
This is why I picked this video.
1764 and 1767, a strange beast roamed the countryside in France. Some reports have over 100 people being killed, and there were something like 200 reported attacks. Most thought it was a wolf. France has been no stranger to wolf attacks over the centuries, but no one really knew for sure what they were dealing with here. One description of the beast, published in 1764, the year the attack started, describes as follows. Quote, reddish-brown with a dark ridge stripe down its back. Resembles a wolf or hyena, but as big as a donkey. Long gaping jaw, 6 claws, pointy upright ears, and a supple furry tail. Mobile like a cat's and can knock you over. Its cry, more like a horse neighing than a wolf howling. End quote. Another young girl attacked by the creature, but having escaped, said it was, quote, like a wolf, yet not a wolf. End quote. Other descriptions include a tail with a tuft at the end, a wide mouth and a broad chest, a white heart-shaped pattern on its underbelly. People in France knew what wolves were. It adds a degree of credibility that something else was roaming the countryside when people are saying that's not what this is. Cassius Dio didn't say a giraffe was a camel, but that it was like a camel. There was so much killing in the French countryside that people were afraid to work in the fields, and that's not good for the king. That's how he gets his food. So he hires expert hunters to go after this.
But yeah, would they have said it's like a wolf, though, is the question, because the people of France would know what a cat is compared to a dog and would be able to tell an animal that was cat-like as opposed to an animal that was dog-like, one would expect anyway.
The hunters kill dozens of wolves, but the killings by the beast continue. So maybe it wasn't a wolf they had to be looking for. There is debate today on what this thing was. Reddish-brown, tuft at the tail, big like a donkey. There are many alternative hypotheses, but some popular ones include an immature male lion, because their mane sometimes can form a stripe down their back. Another option would be a striped hyena. The problem is that neither is native to France. But members of the aristocracy like to have nice things, and sometimes those nice things come from far away. They can also be dangerous, and if they escape, they can hurt people. Nile crocodiles are from Africa, but they have been captured in Florida's Everglades. Every few years, someone's pet tiger or lion gets out here in America, so it's not unthinkable that something like this can happen. But just because the accounts don't sound quite like a wolf, does that mean...
Well, I mean, the Everglades, Florida is just full of all kinds of... Florida has all kinds of invasives now. What am I yelling at you about, John? What'd you do? Oh, John had to go.
They're accurate. Remember Herodotus and the hippo. Hippos don't have a mane. Is it possible these accounts are similar because they're influenced by some sort of societal hysteria? Are they remembering incorrectly, like the countless trials of the wrongfully convicted? 3 years after the attacks began, a creature is killed by a hunter named Jean Chastel. Inside the beast is a collarbone of a person, and after this animal is killed, the attacks in the French countryside stop. The kill was reported in an official French document called the Man Report. The report said, quote, this animal, which seemed to us to be a wolf, but extraordinary and very different by its figure and its proportion of the wolves that we see in this country. This is what we have certified by more than 300 people from all around who came to see him. Several hunters and many knowledgeable people have actually made us note that this animal has resemblances to the wolf, but only in its tail and behind. End quote. They describe the head as monstrous, and the report says the fur is reddish-gray and the creature has black bands or stripes. On its chest, it had a white mark and a heart shape. It is also noted that, quote, this seemed to us a remarkable observation, because in the opinion of these hunters, such colors have never been seen in...
Oh my gosh, I wish so much that they had preserved the skull of this animal, but then there wouldn't be any mystery for us to explore now. I wouldn't even know about this if they knew what it was. Like, if they had the skull... Well, maybe I would know about it, but it'd be like, oh, the escaped lion of Gévaudan or something like that. If they had the skull preserved. It doesn't take much to preserve a skull, guys. Come on. Mud can do it on accident.
wolves, end quote. Maybe the Beast of Gévaudan was a wolf, but the reporting on it doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Maybe it was something else, something that the French peasantry, hunters, and even the aristocracy couldn't explain. So we played this game a few times already. What do you think it was?
Alright, it's time for the Hive to play that game too. We're going to say, what do you think it was? What do you think the Beast of Gévaudan was? Southern France? Africa's awful far away for it to have been a natural lion. They had to cross the Strait of Gibraltar, but I don't think that happened. So someone would have to have brought it to France if it was a lion. If it was a wolf dog, which is another popular speculation, that would explain why it looked different. Well, here, look, there's lions right there. Look, the lion came all the way down here. All right, that's a really bad joke, but what do you guys think? Was the beast of Gévaudan a lion, a wolf, some sort of strange hybrid, a werewolf, a serial killer? Let me know in the comments down below. And what happened here? And yeah. And please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.